feels like the weight of the WNBA is on her shoulders. That is both, like I said earlier, a compliment and warranted in a lot of ways, but also maybe a little bit unfair to put so much on her, and then to not play up to her abilities in this early part would be frustrating.
Recently, Sue Bird, a legendary player in the WNBA, spoke out against the criticism and hate Caitlin has been getting from other players. Curious about Sue Bird's take on the situation? Wait until you see her powerful reactions to some big names in the basketball world who haven't been so kind to Clark.
Used with a disrespectful tone, talking about how good the opponents are that she's faced over the first two games, Sue. Like, you know, this is a professional sports league that's been around 28 years. There are some really great professionals playing in it. I'm wondering how you take that part of the conversation here.
That's definitely been the conversation. You know, there's been a couple of moments that have led to the narrative around, you know, Caitlin's greatness and it translating, and there's been...
On the podcast A Touch More, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird dive deep into the latest WNBA drama and share their reactions to the heated controversies surrounding Caitlin Clark.
I never thought Caitlin wasn't strong. That was actually something I noticed in college. Like, she had a strength about her. Will she get stronger, and will that help her? Yeah. I think it was more just getting used to the hits and the physicality and like what refs are going to call, what they're not going to call. And you've seen her adjust in that way too. Like,
Sue Bird started by praising Caitlin Clark's incredible talent and how she's been shaking up the basketball scene. Bird couldn't hold back her admiration for Clark's record-breaking performances and how she constantly surprises fans with her skills. She pointed out that Caitlin has been impressing everyone with her strength and play since college, and it's clear she's only getting better. But could she possibly reach even greater heights? However, Bird didn't hesitate to address the unfair criticism Caitlin Clark has been facing. In fact, she even took this topic to Jimmy Fallon's show. But before we get into that, let's talk about how, right from the start of the season, some teams and players have resorted to aggressive defensive tactics like full-court pressure in a desperate attempt to throw Clark off her game. Bird weighed in on this, saying that while these defensive tactics aren't anything new, Caitlin's ability to rise above the relentless pressure and still dominate shows just how unstoppable she is. But that's not all. Bird didn't stop at just pointing out the criticism. Sue Bird highlighted a standout moment when Caitlin Clark took a hard hit and was blocked by Ezi Magbegor, hitting the floor hard. So what happened? Instead of letting that setback bring her down, Caitlin bounced right back and kept pushing forward. Bird's reaction? She was seriously impressed with how Caitlin turns tough moments to her advantage, using them to fuel her game instead of letting them mess with her head. That's next-level determination.
got blocked pretty bad by Ezi, took a little bit of a splat. And like, yeah, I'm sure she was a little pissed, but she kind of got up, took the lick, and got back.
Yeah.
You know, whereas earlier in the season, I think it would have impacted her a little bit more. So
just get used.
Now here's where it gets exciting. Bird's admiration for Caitlin isn't just about tough play, it's a direct challenge to how some media critics love to pounce on a player's every misstep. Instead of focusing on her talent, they blow small slip-ups way out of proportion and make them into a huge deal. But Bird is saying, no way. Caitlin is handling these rough moments like a pro and using them to fuel her game. The real story here is her resilience, not the drama. Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe didn't hold back when they called out the media for how it handles athletes. They made one thing crystal clear. The media loves stirring up drama and focusing on controversies, often overlooking players' real accomplishments.
what makes
On the flip side,
what she's doing so amazing. This
Yeah.
is, yeah. go
No,
ahead.
I mean, on the flip side, I would just feel like for real people who are on the internet and commenting on things, like, just take a beat and realize that you're talking to real people who have real feelings and emotions. Like, you don't have to be so hateful. This is a sport, like, relax.
It's like watching a movie and obsessing over every plot twist instead of appreciating the epic story unfolding.
Awful things in there about you personally, and that's just unacceptable. Like, we're playing sports. This is just a game, and we need to be kinder to each other. So I love
Bird and Megan's point, they're saying, come on, let's not turn every game into a scandal fest. Let's actually celebrate her incredible talent instead of turning her into the latest sensation. Bird's honesty is seriously refreshing. She's straight up calling out the media for its double standards. She's not just keeping it real, She's shifting the focus back to where it belongs, the athletes' achievements, not their mistakes. Honestly, I'm with her on this one. But it gets even more exciting. Guess who she discussed Caitlin with next? None other than Jimmy Fallon.
Have you been watching? I mean, that is obviously. It must be cool to watch someone like her just start dominating. You're like, oh yeah, because everyone watched. I think last week that she broke the record, and it was like 4 million people watched that. It's just exciting.
Yeah, those are the numbers.
It's huge.
Yeah, she's obviously doing amazing. Her games.
It's clear they're both huge fans of Caitlinclark. Fallon was excited about how Clark's amazing performances are drawing huge crowds and breaking records. Bird added that Clark's deep logo threes are changing the game, especially for those who used to say things like, "Women don't dunk," as if that was the only way to judge basketball. Fallon's fun take on these outdated views made one thing clear. How can anyone criticize a player who's redefining the sport with shots that seem to defy gravity? On another hit show, It Always Takes Time, Sue Bird dropped some seriously insightful comments about Caitlinclark's transition to the WNBA, and believe me, her take is definitely worth hearing.
She's feeling that right now, but that's part of adjusting to the WNBA, right? Maybe not having it happen this early, but part of professional sports is you're going to have some stretches that don't go your way. You're going to shoot bad, your team's going to lose, and how do you respond to that? So I'm sure she would like those 2 games back. Everybody's clearly got their defensive game plan built around her, which is a compliment, but you got to figure.
Sue Bird shared her thoughts on Caitlinclark's early challenges in the WNBA, blending empathy with some constructive feedback. During the conversation, the host mentioned Clark's visible frustration and anger in a recent game. And here's how Sue responded.
It's like just barely slapping the hands of her coach and teammates. She looked really angry last night.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Let's not forget that she probably has arguably the most pressure that any, women's basketball player has ever had coming into the
It seems she had a lot to say. Sue Bird's concerns about Caitlin speak volumes. When Bird refers to the lot Caitlin has to deal with, she clearly means the online hate and criticism Caitlin has been facing. This scrutiny isn't just the typical rookie bumps. It's a full-blown media madness targeting her every move. Sue Bird's comments on Caitlinclark's rise are thoughtful. However, she also points out that some people have hastily placed Clark at the top of the WNBA mountain, which, according to Bird, might feel disrespectful to the current players in the league. This suggests that while Clark's potential is impressive, the rush to crown her as the top player before she's truly proven herself in the professional arena might overlook the hard work and achievements of seasoned players. So, is Sue Bird really defending Caitlinclark, or the WNBA players here? It sounds confusing, right? It does to me too, but to know the answers, we'll need to dig deeper. Aside from this, Sue Bird really spoke up about Caitlin's incredible talent while also calling out the unfair treatment she has received. What do you think? Do you agree with Sue Bird's take on how we should treat new talent? Or should we give her time to prove herself? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll keep you updated on daily news about Caitlinclark and the WNBA, so don't miss out. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notified as soon as we upload our next video. Thanks for watching.